Coming round 1 and 2. Spins out. Ah! So, how was your weekend?
I worked all weekend, so got some.
I had to work too.
Yeah.
There's a football game at the college that I work at. And I worked for 9.5 hours, and we lost 42-17. So
Very nice. Very nice.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty nice, yeah. But that is what it is. So we are in our new studio. So we are in our new studio. So we're calling it Studio 24. I don't even know if I told you this because it's on.
My dad told me.
Yeah. Because I won't give the full address because I don't want anybody. Because we have like a line of fans like right at the door.
Yep.
But it's 24 is the address. Street, and it's the year 2024, and Jeff Gordon's number is 24, so it just worked out perfectly.
There you go.
So I know you weren't a Jeff Gordon fan, but I was, and so was your mom and other people. So
everybody else was.
Yeah, everybody else was. He was a Tony Stewart fan. Like
that was before I was cool.
Oh. Now he's a Kyle Larson fan, so he makes up for it.
It's all right.
Anyway, speaking of Kyle Larson, he that shifted into first gear. Or actually,
there you go.
Better yet.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
All right, welcome to Shifting Gears.
We have 5 different topics that we're going to talk about, and it's going to be kind of a little bit different.
It is. It's a little different, but that's all right.
But still, 5 topics.
Yeah, I was going to get that first one. Shifted into first gear, be Kyle Larson. Speaking of him, and he got involved in a wreck right at the end of stage 1.
He did.
And it was a big wreck too. I don't think I've seen a next-gen car that crumpled up. Honestly, I think that's the most I've seen one crumpled up. I mean, Ryan Preece flipped 11 times last year, but I don't think his car was really wrinkled up like
Not
that
really.
one. So
the only other one I would think of is whenever he got T-boned, but
yeah, I remember that. That was all on the side too.
Yeah,
it was really shortened up, so that was pretty hard hit. But he had enough playoff points going in there that he's still above the cut line by, I want to say 13, but that was unofficial last time I saw it, so it could be a little changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think he's still fine. I mean, go to Watkins Glen, he has 2 wins there.
Yeah.
And then Bristol, I think he'd be fine.
And Bristol's where we're going to see a lot of good drivers come out. So.
Yeah, and it also depends on, they bring the same tire as they did earlier this year.
The soft or the one that was...
The one that was like really falling apart, but they think it had because of the weather and a bunch of different things, so they're not expecting it to fall apart this much. But now that they know how it is, I think they'll be able to plan for it more, so it's not going to be quite as bad.
Yeah.
But so it should be interesting, to say the least.
I bet it will be.
But so that going in there also, I'll save that for a second for the next gear. So he did that, but. You know, it involved Chase Briscoe too. Chase Briscoe's now the 16th seed. He's minus like 20-something or 30-something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
He's going to have to basically be in a must-win.
Yeah,
unless somebody really has some problems. So,
which kind of stinks because Briscoe was.
I was kind of
doing
secretly
pretty good.
I was kind of secretly cheering him for him.
He even said after the last race, which I saw in the short amount of time that I got to watch the race, that he said with the next schedule coming up. He said he has a pretty good run, but
yeah, I mean, he's good at road courses. So it depends on the people. How it depends on how next week goes, based on if he needs to win at Bristol or not.
Yeah,
he might still have a chance, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So, but that leads us into gear number 2, Brian.
Gear number 2, we're going to talk about Denny Hamlin.
Dennis Hamlin.
How bad he was.
Yeah.
With just I feel like they need to load the car up and forget this week even happened.
Yeah.
So
I knew I didn't pick him in fantasy at all, but I knew that when I saw his qualifying lap and he was 1.8 seconds off the pace in qualifying, I thought, I have no idea what's going on. Now, granted, I didn't watch qualifying. I didn't get to watch pre-race. So maybe it was, I just happened to see his lap. So maybe it was planned and he wanted to start back there. No idea. But I think he literally just was that much off the pace.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's ain't no way he's doing anything. And then he stayed in the back.
He stayed
all
there.
of all the stages.
You know who finished right in front of him and right behind him? J.J. Yaley and B.J. McLeod.
There you go. That
So-
it kind of sums up his day right there.
Yeah. So
And then wrecked, of course, on the last caution, right at the last lap. So finishes 24th unofficially. He's only +2. How funny would it be to see him in his year get kicked out of the after first round?
it'd be funny because I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan.
I
But
don't like it.
honestly, I mean, we'll get to that. I honestly think he still could have a very good run. But
So I don't know if you saw this, but this is what I was going to say earlier. I think this is hilarious because, of course, he's never won any championships. Well, his driver, Tyler Reddick, won the regular season championship last week. And there's a video of him. He's like, I just want to at least touch it. He's like, man, it's the only championship. It might be the only championship I ever get to have. Whatever. And then Kyle Larson posted on Twitter. Did you see this?
I didn't.
And he said, well, not quite, because Kyle Larson missed a race. So on owner's points, Kyle Larson actually won the championship. So even Denny Hamlin can't say that he won it as an owner because as an owner, he didn't win it. It was just Tyler Reddick as the driver that won the regular season champion.
very true.
And so even as an owner, Denny Hamlin still misses out. So I think that is stinking hilarious. He's just has that much bad luck when it comes to that. So that's funny.
Yeah.
But regardless, Denny Hamlin's only +2. So we'll see how that goes coming in. I don't think he's very good. He's not known to be a very good road racer. He's just kind of decent. So I'm very interested to see how it goes.
That's
next
why
week.
I'm saying Bristol's probably going to be the race
Yeah.
this round because, well, obviously it's the cutoff race, but you got big dogs like Larson, Hamlin. I mean, everybody else is going to be going for it, but I mean, Christopher Bell can, do really good there. Martin Truex could be really good there. Any of the Hendrick cars, any of the Penske cars, it's going to be a free-for-all. So,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to say the least here in a couple weeks. But that will bring us into shifting into third gear, and that is the race overall. It's not last this week. That's why we said it was different. But you guys know, I've said it before, I love the new Atlanta. I like the old Atlanta, the slick part of it, watching the drivers get loose and everything, but it was boring as can be. Let's just face it. A lot of times, especially towards the end of its run, so it needed to do something, and they did. And I am
it used
amazed.
to be so bad, like right before the pave, people couldn't keep tires on it.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, the track kept coming apart too.
Yeah.
My favorite story is Jeff Gordon. He said when he retired, he told the guys in the booth, which was DW, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Joy at the time, and he said, we got to stop them from repaving this track. They can't repave it. They've got to do something. Of course, then they were wanting to repave it then, and then waited a few more years. And Larry McReynolds goes, just wait till you are in the booth and you see if your decision changes. And he gets up there for the Atlanta race, and he said it wasn't even into stage one. And they went to commercial, and he said, guys, we got to do something about this track. Because the drivers thought it was fun because they were constantly working the wheel and everything. But they just got so spread out that the race was just boring. That's why nobody was showing up. But they've really redone this race. Of course, last time they were there, they had a closest three-wide finish we've had in NASCAR. Not the closest finish in NASCAR, but it was still like the 7th closest finish in NASCAR history. But the closest three-wide finish. And then today was good. I love watching them because you're so used to seeing them go around a 2.5 mile racetrack that they're going around a 1.5 mile racetrack, and it feels like they're going so much faster in a pack like that because of the tracks are so much smaller. So it's really cool to see. Reminds me of an old school 2000s style super speedway race. Yeah. And I just think that's neat. It's something I think the sport has
Especially
needed.
whenever they get those runs on the backstretch and they're jumping down. Looks like they're going super fast.
I know. So. I love it. I really did. I like this race today. It wasn't the best Atlanta race. I'll say that. I mean, it lacked some moments in the race. There wasn't a ton of wrecks, which is not necessarily what you're always expecting for, but
some people are.
It makes it more exciting sometimes. Let's just face it. So, but the racing was still awesome. So on my percentage I will give it I'll give it an 81%. Because it was really, really good. It could have been better. They didn't really have much wrecks, and there wasn't really a close finish. It ended under caution. So, it had the excitement factor was there, but it didn't really come to anything. So it could have been better, but it was not bad at all. I really liked the race, so I give it 81%. Bryce, what do you think about you?
I'm kind of thinking the same thing, just 83.
Oh,
It was good racing. Like I said, it looked fast and exciting. I love the drafting because, even the part that I saw, 3 Penske, 3 Hendrick. So the teams were competing against each other, but like you said, just kind of no wrecks, ending in caution. It just stuff like that, so.
Yeah, so that was what we thought about the race. The Xfinity race, it was fine. I think the New Atlanta favors the next-gen cars more than the Xfinity cars. I think it's just because of how badly the Xfinity cars handle. I think handling has a lot to do with that track, and I don't think because not everybody has the same car like the next-gen car does, it really requires handling. So you really have about 4 or 5 guys that have really good handling cars that can just go up there and dominate the race, and then that's about it. It gets single file. But I think, which I know this is backwards from what I normally say, but I think for the Xfinity race next year, if they lower the speed 5 miles an hour, I think it would help that race for the Xfinity cars because they'll make them bump draft. So the speed will still be there. It won't necessarily feel like it's that low, but then they won't have to lift as much in the corners. Yeah. As I'm curious to see how that would go if they do. But don't lower it too much because then it'll just be too boring. But that's just my opinion on the matter. We're going to go ahead and shift into 4th gear. Bryce, that's your turn, I believe.
Which is our predictions for the Final Four.
Yeah, so we were going to do this last week. I've already have my picks for a while. I did not change them even after this race. I still am going to have our picks. But I didn't have time last week. Life happens, So we're going to give them this time. This will be our Championship 4 picks, not who gets eliminated to each round, just our Championship 4 picks and our champion. So Bryce, you can go first. Who's your Championship 4?
My Championship 4, I've got to say Kyle Larson because he's just having that kind of a year. It's kind of a toss-up, but I do think Denny Hamlin's having that year. Through this struggle today, I still think he's gonna somehow make his way, and so I think he'll get in. My 3rd pick will be Christopher Bell, because even though he doesn't have as many wins as Larson and Hamlin, he still almost every race was right there, and so he's just right there through it all. And then my 4th pick would just be William Byron. He kind of went through a slump in the middle of the season, but William Byron is just he's different. He can kick it in gear whenever he needs to. So
yeah, that's good. Who's your champion?
Well, my champion is going to be Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell?
I bet Christopher Bell wins.
That's nice. That's not what I was expecting you to say. That'd be, I think he was in the last 2 Championship 4s and had bad luck. So and he won at Phoenix before. Yeah, so that was not who I was expecting. So that's pretty neat. We'll see how that goes. Last year, or was it 2 years ago? I can't remember. I think 2 years ago, Caleb picked Kevin Harvick and he was out in the first round.
It's probably going to be how mine's going to go, but
we'll see.
We're probably going to have like a Briscoe Suarez.
Burton. Daniel Suarez did good today. He almost won. But I'll be shifting in the 5th and final gear will be my Championship 4 and champion pick. And my Championship 4 is Tyler Reddick, won the regular season championship. When you win the regular season championship with all those points that comes with it, it's hard not to make it into the Championship 4. Believe me, because Chase Elliott's tried to miss a Championship 4 after winning the regular season championship in 2022. And somehow he squeaked by and still made it in the Championship 4. Martin Truex Jr. almost made it the Championship 4 last year after winning the regular season finale, or regular season championship. But he somehow managed not to. So I think Tyler Reddick's good enough. He'll make it in the Championship 4. Kyle Larson, I think, will. I think he's too good at a lot of the tracks to not.
Yeah.
He could literally win next week at Watkins Glen. He's won there twice. And then you have different tracks. There's Talladega, you got to be careful for, but if he makes it to the round of 8, then you have Las Vegas and Homestead, which he's really good at. Plus, he's won at Martinsville before. So,
Well, and you missed Bristol. If he doesn't win next week,
yeah,
he's
he can win
amazing
Bristol.
at Bristol.
Yeah, so I think he is definitely going to make it in the championship 4. Even if he has some bad races in between, I think he's going to win to advance, honestly. So, Kyle Larson makes the championship 4. My next pick, this is where it gets kind of hard to choose who would be in there, but I went with Chase Elliott only because he is very consistent. He doesn't have the wins this year, but he had a shot to win the regular season championship all the way up to the last race, only missed it by a handful of points. I think like 18 or something like that. I can't remember.
Him and Larson were tied there for a long time.
Yeah.
So
he is doing good when it comes to points. He's always very consistent, just doesn't get the wins to show for it sometimes.
And
but we
his
also...
one win. I was there.
Yeah, that's true. You need to go to more races.
I do.
But there's 2 road courses in this, obviously in this playoffs next week, and then the Roval. And he has 2 wins at Watkins Glen, and I think 3 wins? 2 or 3 wins at the Roval. I can't remember. Maybe just 2. I can't remember. But regardless, he's very good there. And so I think just that in and of itself can put him into there. And then he has Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. And he's fairly decent at all those tracks. I think he makes it in a championship 4 based on points, if not wins. And then the final person I put in there, as I was going to go with William Byron. And I was going to maybe go with Denny, but then Denny started doing really bad the last few weeks. And I just can't. I think he's going to start doing decline. I don't think he's going to do much. So
Yeah.
I can't give him
and
that.
It's hard to guess that because a lot of teams turn it on during the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But with Denny having such a good car every week,
You have to peak at the right time.
So and maybe it's the same case for Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell's had amazing cars at every track. The only time he hasn't been up there in contention is if he's wrecked out. Mm-hmm. So maybe maybe all of their luck's going to the regular season instead of playoffs.
You really have to peak at the right time, and we'll start seeing in the next couple of weeks who's peaking and who's not. So I went with William Byron for the last one, and then and my champion, I was going to go ahead and go with Tyler Reddick. I think Tyler Reddick does win the championship. And then Denny Hamlin, I guess, could say that he won the championship unless Kyle Larson wins the owners, I guess. And if that happens, then I'm really going to laugh.
Yeah.
But that's my champion. So that's our video for this week. I hope you liked. Like it, comment, subscribe. Tell us what we can do better. Tell us what we can do worse. Maybe we're doing something too good. You never know. So,
I dressed up for the occasion. So
we got a great new setup. If you can tell, we got a TV over here now instead of over here, so we can see ourselves. It's the quality is great. It's perfect. The audio quality, I believe, is working awesome. We've got a brand new studio with a brand new computer that will not give us as much technical difficulties, and so I'm excited to edit this one out and send it out and get some feedback and start. So hopefully we can start growing a little bit. So it'll be nice. Maybe I can start actually having some time to put some more shorts out. Because I really want to put some shorts out, but I just have no time.
Like selling shorts?
Yes.
Oh. I'll
shorts,
buy some.
and then like knee-length shorts, and then even capris.
Nice.
Yeah. Gauchos? Maybe.
What about ponchos?
That's too offensive.
But hey, Juan Pablo Montoya is back next week.
Well, there you go. JPM. Hide the jet dryers. That's all I gotta say. All right. I will see you next week.